Hey Alex Cookie, this is Egan on Arena Supply A5. I'm going to give you some feedback because you had requested it, but also the last two times that I've joined the server, the map before this, the server population was like 24 out of 24 players, and then it gets to this map, and it always dwindles down to like 13 or 15 players in population. So it's kind of clear that people sort of have a problem with this map, and I don't know if you're looking at the feedback. I know I gave a couple lines of feedback, but I guess I'll give you a like more visual representation of some thoughts. I would say like my biggest problem with the map is just that it's too small for an arena map. For arena, often what'll happen is everyone will exit their spawns, and then there'll be a big main fight. And a lot of people that participate in that main fight will just die because it's too dangerous, and everyone has one life in arena, so you don't want to go into a really dangerous scenario. But in this map, you don't really have any other options because the map maker has decided that no, you can't go through these routes until the capture point doors open, which is a typical thing that arena does, is that they make it so, like arena nucleus, right? When the capture point unlocks, those bridges extend outwards from mid, or towards mid, but it unlocks like a shortcut through the map, right? And that's a cool idea, but I think like unlocking this door right here when the capture zone unlocks, I think that's an okay idea, but that you've blocked off these two side routes, I think that's too much, especially because like when you've exited your spawn and you're going, okay, I don't even want to cross mid right now, it's way too dangerous, and you want to take the side path, it's like completely locked off. This one, yeah, you can keep that one closed, but these ones I think you should really like open. You can do that. Oh, magic, you can just open it. Yeah, if that one was unlocked, maybe even if that one was, let's see what that would look like. Yeah, I think if these two were open, that would be a bit better. The only problem with that too now is that it's so close to the enemy spawn. Like that was a thing that I saw a couple of times too, is that the enemy team would just bypass the middle area and head into this house, and then just try to like kind of pierce and pincer attack the enemy team. And I really think that there should be some other route that players could go, and that would probably, I mean, the map is kind of not wide enough for another route at the moment. I think the best thing you can kind of do is extend it width-wise. So one of the ideas I had was, as wide as this building is, you'd add to the width of the map. So that means half this width of this building you'd add onto this side, and then half this width of the building you'd add onto this side. So it's symmetrical, of course. And that'd give you a little bit more room to play with some routes. And then also, if you did that, you'd notice that these areas would be a bit too like spread apart from the center. So an idea could be to take this whole building section, all of this, and pull it forward. And if that one was pulled forward too, you'd notice that when you're on the ground here, you couldn't see all the way across from one side of the map to the other because that building, this thing, would be in the way. And that would also kind of help with a little bit of sightlines at mid. Like, it's okay to have a little bit of combat at mid, but it's like so decisive where whoever kind of gets to the high ground of mid first just like always wins the rounds, and it's really like simplistic, and it doesn't really add a lot of depth to the combat, especially because arena mode, like most arena rounds only last like a minute to a minute and a half, unless you're playing like Arena Sujin where it lasts like 4 minutes just because it's so big and there's so many routes. But most arena maps only take like a minute and a half, and that means you're going to have like 15 rounds, and if all the rounds play out the exact same, there you go. So yeah, if the map was spread apart a little bit wider, and then these buildings were pushed forward a little bit more, just that section of the building, I think this location of this doorway is okay. Here, let's open up that and see what that would look like. Yeah, you'd probably have to play with these routes a little bit more. I think if this ramp into this room was a little bit more complex, like you had to like zigzag in, or only linked up to the back, and then this like you like had to go forward or back a bit more, I think that'd be okay. You'll be able to like play with that, I'm sure. I think that's okay, and I think that'd be pretty good. And then having that additional route in the map, one of my ideas was to, where this is right here, have some sort of like underground subway or something that goes underneath mid and then up on the enemy team's side. So it's kind of like a long playoff or something. You could even make that route kind of long, and I'm not sure if you should connect it to other parts of the map. I'm trying to think of how other maps would do that. I don't know if you want to like potentially even have like sewer grates you could see people down there, or I guess Ravine is kind of like that, where they have like, you know, drop downs into the lower routes. The lower route kind of lets you sneak past, but then there's like areas where it's open, so you can like see people under there, like maybe gutters or like a sewer is just like open somewhere, you could just like see people and drop down there. Or like maybe if it was a little bit wider over here, there was like some sort of like drop down right here where you could just like slide into that lower area, just like an escape tunnel. I'm not really sure where you'd put that, but I think if the map was wider, it'd be a little bit more obvious where you could put something like that. Just like, you know, looking at other arena maps, how they do it. Like Nucleus has that lower area where they have a medium health pack near the death pit, and it's like really dangerous. And I think so if it was like really constricted, that'd be okay too. Unless you did want to have like a train running down there. I don't know. This doesn't really look like there's be a train. It kind of looks like one of those buildings that construction workers they don't have like the ownership to get rid of the building, so they just like have to build their buildings around it. That'd actually be kind of cool if like these buildings were pulled in, as I mentioned earlier, a little bit closer, because it'd be like everything's kind of like surrounding the building here. The last thing I wanted to say about the map is that this concrete area out here just feels a little bit too flat. It's just a lot of the combat, if you fall off the middle roof for whatever reason, like maybe you were on the middle of the roof, and then like you know, hit someone and then knock back and then now you're on the ground. It's not too bad, but it feels a little bit too flat down here, more than it probably should. With more width of an area, it might feel even a bit, like even more still too flat. I'm gonna burp one sec. Sorry, I'm burping. I just had Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola Classic. So here, I have display capture, no game capture. In paint.net, this is a suggestion I might have. So of course this area would be wider. Here, I'm just going to enable preview. Okay, that is showing up. Just so if this was wider, you can see how like there is like steps down. Can you see my cursor, by the way? Oh, you can. Okay, good. Yeah, this is just like a simple 3D view. There'd be like a curb or something into some sort of like middle pathway, and it'd be tall enough, like only maybe like, I don't know, 32 units, if that, maybe even like 24 units, maybe 32 units, because this would be like 2 steps of stairs, maybe 48 units, just enough so that when you're down here, you feel like combat is a little bit different from when you're on top of here. And then it's kind of up to you how you want to connect this area to over here. If you want to like bypass the whole house, like it connects over there and this like comes around here, then why is the house in the middle of like a road? That's kind of weird, unless you want to like have it connect up to here, or maybe there's like sandbags in the way, or maybe this is the end of it and then the actual like roadway kind of comes here. I'll put a new layer underneath, like it kind of goes like this or something. You know, like this is like the end of that road, and then this is like it slopes down. It kind of links up to here, and then it goes low here. I don't know. I'm sure you have a general idea of what that would look like. But yeah, just like some sort of way to. Here, I'll turn back the game capture. Some sort of way to vary up the combat here just a little bit, just enough. Like maybe the curb doesn't even need to be that extreme. Just like looking at Soho, King of the Hill, Kong King, how the curbs, they don't affect combat too much, but it just kind of gives the perception that combat has a little bit more varying height. And of course it'll be a bit more varying height when these buildings are like pulled inwards, if you choose to do that. Yeah, I think if it was wider, that'd feel good. If there was another path like that underground route or something, maybe an alternative option would be to have like some underground route that like starts back here even further outwards, and then it goes like down here and then up. I'm not sure, because that might be enough, because if this was like pulled forward, you'd be able to like kind of dodge everything. But then it just kind of feels like that's an extension of this route, and like might as well just take this route. So I kind of like the idea of going low and kind of bypassing all routes to get to the other base. It's an interesting idea. Yeah, and then I think if you had these doors open, I'm not really exactly sure why they're closed, then that would help, I think, too. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. The curbs can even be pretty simple, like for now, just because you're in Alpha 5. Curbs are kind of like annoying and tricky and displacement-y to make, and you can probably just like experiment with that, but like, I mean, they don't really have to be complex if you're just experimenting, right? But yeah, good luck on A6, I guess. A7 if you're already producing A6. Yeah, I think maybe a good tip for arena mode is just to think of what your favorite arena mode maps. I know arena doesn't get played that often anymore, but like, what are your favorite Valve maps? And then just try to analyze what those maps kind of have similar to each other. Like, I really like Capture Point Well, or Arena Well, how there's like a bunch of different paths you can take, and they have like really extreme height and angles, and you can like see each other across the middle of the big room, but you have like options within that room how you want to like take advantages or disadvantages, or you can like always just stay back even, or you can like, there's a way in CP Well how there's like it's almost like this if this was like taller or something. I don't think you should actually do this, but it's just like a thing that CP Well does, where it's like really tall and you can choose to like rocket jump up and then take like a shortcut across the map. I don't think you should do that, but I think it's an interesting idea that they have like the ability to kind of like give you an option. Oh, do I want to like give myself a little bit of damage, but then I get like an advantage over top of mid but it's only like a temporary advantage because inevitably other players are going to be up there too, but I just get there a little quicker. It's like a little bit of depth there. It's interesting. Maybe even an idea that you could do is get rid of these ramps from here. I don't know if I like that. No, I don't know. I guess because you could always do that with just these windows, right? Like, that's how these windows work, is you could just always rocket jump. I think that's enough. There might be a bit too much health on the map. You have a lot of like health packs on here. I feel like that was just kind of like a kickback. Maybe just, wow, there's a lot of health on this map. Just how the map played in like previous maps, where everyone just kept dying like instantly. Also, I like how there's a Conk getting heavy in here. So you might want to look into removing some of the health packs, like maybe this one right here. It doesn't really make a lot of sense that you're kind of encouraging players to retreat from the main battle to their spawn, because this is like the spawn room right here. You might want to remove that one. Yeah, okay. So I hope this is helpful a little bit. Yeah, alright. Looking forward to your next iteration. Thanks for watching.